Hello everyone and welcome to the 2025 MPSF Men's Gymnastics Championships. Streamed on overnight and hosted by Vertius. I am one of your co-hosts, Akash Modi.
And I am your other co-host, Jake Sampier.
And we are excited for this thrilling competition to get underway.
We're going to start off by introducing the teams. First off, we have the United States Air Force Academy with head coach Josh Loser, assistant coaches Sergey Resnick and Michael Reed. Air Force's average score of the year is around a 312.7. with a season high totaling at a 314.5. Next up, we have the University of California, Berkeley, with current interim head coach Brian Del Castillo and assistant coach Carl Zine. California's average on the year currently sits at a 311.917, with their season high totaling at a 314.3.
And next up, we have the University of Oklahoma, head coached by Mark Williams, and assistant coaches are Valery Goncharov, Josh Yee, and Kenki Suzuki. They come in ranked number 1 with a national qualifying average of 327.183, and their season high this year is at 330.7. And rounding out the field, we've got Stanford University, head coach Tom Gleamy, assistant coaches Ruben Lopez Martinez, Mitchell Sukup, and Carlos Hernandez Ojeda. They throw right behind Oklahoma at number 2 with a national qualifying average of 326.1 and a team high this year of 328.85.
Well, to start it off here, looks like we are going to see Cal Berkeley on floor, Oklahoma on vault, Stanford on P-bars, and Air Force on high bar.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I don't know about you, Jake. Always see these meets as kind of 2 dual meets happening at the same time, right? Cal and Air Force are neck and neck. They're less than a point apart in their qualifying average. And Stanford and Oklahoma, vying for that number 1 spot. Number 1 seed going into NCAA championships, and for the MPSF title, they're also neck and neck.
100%. This competition could not feature 2 very important dual competitions within itself, and I believe that we are about to see some really awesome gymnastics, particularly between these inter competitions that we're about to see today. And just as like a quick note before we get started here, we are also very excited to witness the pommel horse competition, with each team fostering at least 1 guy that can vie for an NCAA championship.
Yeah, not even NCAA championship. I'd argue, they're good enough to be World Cup champions, or even farther. We have proof of that here with Patty Hoops just recently medaling at the Baku World Cup, just about a month ago, competing for Team USA.
That's 100% correct. It looks like we're just waiting for the competition to start.
Yeah, it'll be a fun competition. These teams have faced off against each other quite a bit throughout this season, and it seems to have gone a bit back and forth. Stanford has won against OU at some points. OU has won against Stanford. Cal and Air Force have gone back and forth. So it's really, 2 sets of 2 teams vying for that spot. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, and I was just going to add, it looks like, it's not just number 1 overall seeding to look at. We're also looking at other positional seeding as we get underway here.
We've got Ty Gopal of Air Force on high bar, Brandon Wynn on vault. Solid vault from him.
Very solid vault.
Oops, sorry, my bad. I'm looking at the wrong one. That was not Brandon Wynn on parallel bars, on vaults. That's Brandon Wynn on parallel bars right now. Looks like that was one of the Flores twins on vault for Oklahoma.
Ooh, triple tuck, stuck.
That's huge.
That was
And just a
very
reminder for everyone, dismounts are basically counted twice towards your difficulty score this year. So triple tuck, huge F value dismount, that's going to bring a lot of difficulty value.
Yes, 100% correct. As we're continuing to watch floor. Very nice 2.5 flays, slight step, no big deal. And double pipe, which is something to note on floor. You're going to see a lot of double flipping dismounts now, considering that that is now a requirement on floor. You must do a double flipping skill as your dismount on that apparatus. So very interesting to see how many different people do different variations of double flipping skills to end their sets.
Yeah, absolutely. Very different rules this year, and you're going to see a lot of different routines. I'd like to get your thought on a very controversial new change. What's up with the scale on floor? Yep.
I was gonna talk about that later on, but I think the scale could be definitely a new thing to get used to for a lot of men's gymnastics fans out there. But you know, it's one of the rules that we have to follow in the sport now, and it's honestly a good idea for gymnasts to get an opportunity to have, you know, a 2 second break in the corner before one of their passes, or to just maybe get a little bit of a rhythm back if something doesn't go their way. So I would like to know your thoughts too.
It's definitely a I guess unique or different thing than the kind of arm swipe we used to see before. I think it's cool for now, but I feel like I might get sick of it through the rest of this quad. And big vault.
Ooh, big vault.
Too big. He just took a few steps out of it, but OU will be happy with that, just getting vaults on your feet, keeping the rhythm going. And I'd like to issue correction. It was Tyler Flores that was first up on vaults for OU.
And that looked like that was Brigham front away. Yep. We got Jeremy on P-bars currently right now. And Jared Fry on high bar.
Big high flying skill on P-bars. Seeing some more of those release moves this year.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. Big Coleman on the high bar right there.
Yeah, I'm just talking about high flying releases. Coleman's huge.
Seen some pretty big gymnastics right out the gate today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we have to. These teams can't hold anything back. It's going to take all they have to come out on top.
Couldn't agree more on that one. Nice vault up there. And that's a vault that's commonly done in gymnastics. That 2.5 cause 1.5 is very popular in NCAA.
Yeah, you see a lot of those 2.5s, Kaz, Yurchenko, solid vaults. But when you see those, triple folds or hamstring Randy's, it's a thing of wonder.
Yeah, you might see a couple of guys test those limits today.
Yeah.
We got Kaylin Curry currently on floor for Cal.
Yep. Looking a little too bouncy, huh?
A little too bouncy, too much power.
Keeps it in bounds, though, Gets a little rest now with his non-acro, and, he brought it back.
Always a big win to make sure you can stay in bounds, even if something doesn't necessarily go your way.
Yeah. And again, OU, we saw, Fuzzy Venice with that last 2.5 to round out their lineup. 4 solid vaults for them. That's a great start. Just get that confidence going and get those nerves out.
Oh, double layout dismount.
Yeah.
That was also upgraded. That is now an E value skill.
Yeah, that's hard. And he did it from a round off, too. You don't see that too often.
Much less as a dismount.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bold dismount to do, but he looked fresh and easy on that.
Yeah, Honestly, it looked like he saw the ground and tried to get his feet right there, and he did just that.
Arun Chitri on parallel bars for Stanford. Pretty cool free hit mount.
Yeah, awesome. That's becoming more popular. Oh, very unique skill right there.
Yeah, bell. That's also been upgraded this year from a D to an E.
I think that's a good upgrade.
Yeah, way too hard of a skill to be a T value. I totally agree. It's got some good rhythm and flow to this routine. Just a few bobbles here and there.
Yep. And stuck double front dismount.
Yeah. Big layout to catch him on high bar.
Yep, looks like we got Eric Upton on high bar for Air Force. And then it looks like we have Theodore Godarud getting ready to salute for Cal on floor.
Lining up for that dismount. Nice double double. Looks like he was going for that stick and just had a little lean back.
Just a little bit, but managed to minimize the steps there. So that's always a win right there as well.
Yeah, and another point I'd like to point out is with this new code, sticks are plus 1/10 bonus in not just college gymnastics as they used to, as it has been for a few years, but now in in all competitions. So that dismount really adds up. If you stick it, you not only do not get any deductions, but you get that plus 1/10 bonus.
Yeah, it's an extra 5/10 if you do all around.
Yeah, exactly.
Theodore Godarud on floor, starting off with that front 2.5.
Yeah, big moves. He's looking bouncy.
Big moves. Just that adrenaline, Sometimes you're just going in with a little too much juice, and sometimes it just gets out of hand. But he was able to kind of control it on that third one, and hopefully he'll settle in for the rest of the routine.
Yeah. And Colt Walker up on parallel bars. He's one of those guys vying for that national title on parallel bars. He just coming off of a win on parallel bars at this last Winter Cup in February. Let's see if he can keep that momentum.
Very nice lines on the P-bars.
Yeah, bit of a wonky front tuck there on floor from Theo.
Yep. Pike dismount.
Beautiful finish there.
Very well done. Yeah. Very well to finish off and fight.
And finish here from Colt. Double front. Small.
Very nicely done. Very nicely done. And it looks like our last competitor on the high bar is Charlie Miles from Air Force.
Just one more guy, and we'll have rotation one out of the way.
Yeah.
What was your
rotation one always the hardest?
I was just gonna ask you, like, where did you like to start, and what was the hardest for you? Yeah, I actually liked rotation one a lot. At first I was nervous, but I had that energy, and I knew I could, put together whatever routine I needed to put together.
I was a floor guy, so I definitely liked starting off a meet, but you can put me on at any time, and I would have been excited.
Yeah.
I get ready for this release skill right here. This is definitely going to be new.
Whoa, that was crazy.
Didn't have enough to get back over the bar, but that is such a big skill.
Yeah, piked Gaylord, double front over the bar. That is so cool. I mean, we barely see that skill.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time I saw it, to be honest.
Such a rare skill.
Pulling out the Kovacs.
Charlie right there.
Yeah. This is a big routine.
This is a big routine. And gearing up for the dismount. Triple back.
Another triple.
Forward.
Huge.
Some big dismounts on high bar for the Air Force Falcons, flying high, as the school always says.
Yeah, I could see that. It looks like he spread his wings on that triple. I mean, he looked like he was done with 2 of the flips before he even started, making his way down.
Very well done. Very well done indeed. Looks like we got our last competitor on the floor coming up. So far through rotation 1, what's your thoughts?
Looks great to me. I mean, I don't think any team has had a major mistake yet. I guess we missed. Theo had a slight mistake on that one front tuck, but it's been solid. The first event is just about getting the momentum going, and I think every team feels like they've got good momentum right now.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't agree more on that. Just by watching every team, it's got so much great energy going on right now. And here we go on the floor.
Big double front. Nice. Interesting. He decided to do a punch front out of that, front tuck. I don't know if he intended to do a layout, because the layout would have given him some connection bonus.
Yes, would have upgraded that by 2/10.
Looks like he does it here. There you go.
There's a layout. Okay.
Yep.
It was very nicely done by him.
Oh, yeah.
And there's that scale we were talking about earlier.
There's a scale. That was one of the better ones. I've seen some pretty mediocre ones.
Honestly, it's so new, and half out dismount to end a solid routine. Honestly, very solid routine there.
Good 14. No hand. He didn't grab his knees or anything. It was a open double tuck full. Takes a lot of energy and technique to be able to do that as your last pass.
Yep, very well, as Kim finishes us off on rotation 1. And now, as we're getting into rotation 2, we're gonna get to see one of our big 4 pommel guys, as we're looking at the event summary for rotation 1. Currently, what stands out to you so far?
Ooh, let's see. Vault. I'm surprised Oklahoma only went above 14 on one vault. They all looked pretty good to me, and maybe it's just a little tough on tough judging on vault. But regardless, those are all very solid scores, and it's a great event total. 55. Anywhere in the 55s is top notch.
Yep. 100%.
What else stands out to me? On the other side, getting above a 13 on high bar is not an easy task. So, we've got 2 guys
Especially
waiting on Charlie Miles. Yeah, absolutely. Not only is the execution getting a lot harder, but you only have 8 skills in each routine, so you're really limited on your difficulty score that way. So props to
pushing in.
Yeah, props to Air Force.
Pushing in on that start value.
Yeah.
I wanted to make a note about Colt Walker getting a 14 on parallel bars. That is a huge score.
Yeah.
Very well done, with Jeremy Bischoff coming right behind him with a 13.9. So
yeah.
Stanford already starting off strong.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to need to keep that momentum.
Pretty consistent 4 from Cal as well.
Yeah, we saw that mishap from Theo on his routine. He still puts up a 13.15. That's we saw it. With his last pass. He had a little mishap and just focused right back in and slammed that dismount. You can't give away
Yeah,
any
honestly,
tenths. You know, once a mistake happens, it happens. Focus back in. Job's not done.
it's very easy to get a little frustrated and overdo some things or underdo some things. He's able to keep his composure for his dismount afterwards. That was very well done by him, and honestly was rewarded for a great routine overall. So that's the end of rotation one there. Seems like it's going to be a very fun meet the rest of the day. And here we go. Next event lineups.
Yeah, one that jumps out to me here, like you were alluding to, Aiden Lee on pommel horse. He's one of those guys with a not only world-class difficulty, his start value is consistently a 15-6 or higher. He can execute just like these other horse guys. He hits mid to high 14s consistently. So he's part of that battle for this pommel horse title.
And it's crazy. We still have every single team has to still go to horse, and every team has that knockout guy that can really put up a huge score.
Yeah, and
So
it's not
gonna be
just it's not just the big score that kind of plays a factor. And obviously, you look at it and see, wow, like this is going to help our final score. But there's a bit of a mindset where when you see something so world class done and hit perfectly, that kind of morale boost and just the vibe you get is huge. It brings a lot more energy, and it's going to make the rest of the meet that much better for your team. So those guys, they have a lot of weight on their shoulders, not just for a raw score, but also for setting the pace.
100%. Now we're going to get started with rotation 2 with Air Force on floor, Cal on pommel, Oklahoma on P-bars, and Stanford on high bar.
A huge laid-out Piatti on high bar for Taylor.
That is such another unique skill on high bar that we don't normally see. Ooh. Another really, really hard release move right there.
Cal gets a hit horse routine to start. Man, he is super excited for that. And I understand why.
Hitting horse first man up is so hard.
Yep, and high bar too. Taylor just finished off with that triple back stick.
Oh, man, that is just massive. We have Ty Gopal about to finish on the floor exercise.
Oh, I missed his scale. I wanted to catch it. Sorry, I'm sure it was amazing.
That was great. And finished off with that full twist.
And yep, every team has put up one great routine so far on event number 2. Keep that ball rolling.
Always a great way to start off with a hit. Always a great thing. So this meet, we've both competed in this meet before in the past, and I just want to ask you, like, what was the most important thing to prepare for coming into a conference championship, knowing that you can walk out of that gym being a champion even before you get to NCAAs?
Yeah, it's we're only 2 weeks away from NCAA championships, so this is kind of the prep. This is the stage you set for what you're going to look like at NCAA championships. So, everything else, you got your regular season. It's all about figuring out your routines, dialing in on things. But when you come here, you are locked in, and you're ready to do the best routines you can possibly do. Difficulty, execution, it's got to be all there. You're not gonna make it happen at NCAA championships if you can't make it happen here.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Very great way to look at it. First round of scores have made their way, and now we're going to get to a second routine on every apparatus. Very juiced double front there.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of those juiced up double fronts today. You think they put some extra springs in there?
Oh yeah, maybe. Maybe.
Nice lofty to pelt on parallel bars. Getting some airtime. Ooh, looks like we have a fall on pommel horse. Unfortunate.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Looked good up until then. Just didn't look like he had it all there. Which happens. It's okay.
Again, like we mentioned, these things happen. You got to put it to the side and finish up strong, because every 10th really does count.
Part of that mental aspect of gymnastics.
And another fall there.
Kenya Barong just finished up on floor for Air Force with a double pike dismount.
So you just graduated last year, right? You didn't have to deal with this code. Well, what do you think your dismount would have been? You're required to do a double flip, and you want to get that D value or higher.
Oh, I would have done a double Arabian there.
Oh, really?
I think that would have been probably my most consistent skill on floor, but I probably would have tried to maybe add that extra half twist.
Yeah.
Just to prep your knees just in case you kind of land short, and landing that blind landing could be awkward, especially when you're tired and at the end of a routine.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm curious now. What would yours be?
Ooh, my double flipping was never fantastic. If you go and watch all my routines, it's mostly twisting. So I probably would have just done a double pike, and it would have taken me quite a bit of time to relearn a double pike. Was not the greatest double flipper.
That's okay. You just got to get good at one of them.
Exactly, right? You need one.
Here we go. We got Fuzzy Bennis on P-bars for Oklahoma. Eric Upton on floor for Air Force.
Yep.
Great line on parallel bars. Huge half and half out, stuck, laid out on floor.
Amazing. Was that bouncy double front?
Yeah, that's been a popular thing today.
Yeah.
Huge Coleman on high bar.
And connected to crotches. Oh.
Ooh, double front, half out. Dismount stuck by Fuzzy there.
Big. Fuzzy has an uncanny ability to stick not just that skill. I mean, I see him stick that, 90% of the time, but pretty much everything.
Yeah, he could stick anything and everything.
Yeah. There's that scale. Beautiful.
Definitely something that the guys had to get used to this year.
Yeah. You see Jeremy Bischoff remounting the high bar. Peeled on that.
Half out on floor as well. Double. Just a slight hop back. That was very well done.
Yeah, Eric Upton's happy with that routine. I mean, that was big.
Sticking that. He's always been a ball of energy.
Yeah.
Always
seeing that full twisting double way at the beginning is, I mean, you can hear the satisfaction, just from the landing.
Oh yeah. I will say my favorite part about this new code is that on every event it actually challenges the gymnasts to try some harder gymnastics and really push their limits. And so far today, we've really seen that everywhere.
I agree. I totally agree. It felt like, previous quads, only the very top guys were doing routines that were fully jam-packed. All 10 skills were major elements. It was very hard to do C, D, E values for all 10 skills. 8 skills allows you to do that, and we're really seeing that. And so we're seeing really top tier, high quality routines from just about everyone.
100%. Beautiful teach on T-bars. Jared Fry next on floor for Air Force.
Looks like we might have Aiden Lee up here on Pommel Horse. One of the horse guys to watch.
It'll be a fun routine.
But the amplitude of his circle his hips are just so high above the horse here. Beautiful long lines.
A great extension.
And he's sewn full keyring, one hand. Very precarious, but when you can do them right, it flows so well. Oh,
that was a good fight there.
Yeah.
Very good fight there. Just a dismount left. He took it off. Very well done.
Fantastic routine. I mean, yeah, we saw that, Wu into the Russian. He really had to fight to stay on, but he kept it clean, kept it going. Looks good.
Looked like we were going to see our first big connection of the day. Just fell a little bit short.
He's moving fast.
He is flying through this routine right now.
That's what I was always about. Just move fast. Get through the routine. The less time you're on the events, the less time a judge has to take deductions.
Also very true. Beloved scale. Actually, very well done.
Yeah. You can see Air Force has been putting in the time on their scales.
Double tuck dismount, but stuck.
Only a C value, but the stick is going to go a long way.
Had to pretty much get every 10th possible after that first fall, and he almost did just that. So, good way to come back.
Yep.
Very huge Tkachevs on high bar there.
Yep. He put it pretty close on his Coleman to begin with, but Tkachevs are right on point.
Nice crossed work. Now it looks like our last competitor, if I'm not mistaken, is Theodore Goderud on Pommel Horse.
Yep, looks like he's fifth man, going for that all-around spot.
Yep.
And I'd like to point out here on the bottom, Aiden Lee with the 14-4 on Pommel Horse. Big score. 9.0 execution. Even though he had that little bobble. Yeah.
If you can get 1 point or less deducted off on horse, you are doing something right.
Oh yeah.
Especially with
you're
the
fighting a little on those Russians. Yeah.
Fighting. But you know what? Good fight.
That's going to be borderline credits. It looks like they're giving him credit for that dismount.
I was just about to ask. Oh, it looks like we got one more on high bar for Stanford.
You're right. Looks like Brandon Wynn's going to round out the field there. He's also got some pretty high flying releases. He's a little tall, so it looks even bigger. He's getting iced a little. What do you
A
do
little
when you're
bit.
getting iced?
For me, I just stood at the chalk bucket and just kept rubbing chalk on me and breathing.
I did the
I don't know,
exact same
everybody.
thing.
Yeah, it's like chalk was my best friend at that point in time.
Oh yeah. I'd go through like a full block of chalk, just rub a little more on, walk like 2 steps, go back, rub some more on. Yeah, it was crazy.
Right before a floor routine, I would pretty much douse my entire legs in chalk. It looked like I had been playing in the snow for a while. Um, yeah, my whole body was covered in chalk by the time I had to salute.
Things we do for good routines.
You know what? 100% agree with that one. It is getting nice. This is a long, long wait. Wonder what the
Yeah, I'm
judges
wondering
are
why.
talking about.
I mean, I don't think there was too much tricky in Ian Lacey Ellis's routine. And actually, we see the score here. 13-2-5. Looks like they've already put up a score. Oh wow, I'm just seeing this now. Looks like OU's last paddle bar routine was Emery O'Donnelly, 9.25 execution. We were talking about, breaking a 9.0. 9.25 is like almost unheard of outside of vault.
Yeah. I mean, anything on any event within 1 point of execution is almost just perfect. And
Yeah.
for you to get 0.75 off only, you were doing something incredibly right for the judges.
Oh yeah. Nice
Nice top
tops.
half.
Topping them out. Winding up here.
Wow.
Casino.
Huge casino.
And
Wow.
Coleman.
He is flying.
Straddling puck to Kachev. Puts that last one a little close, but he giants out, no problem. Winding up. Ah, misses the
Honestly,
stick. But
honestly, the only thing missing from that routine was the stick. But it
yeah,
was a very
exactly.
nice dismount anyway. So that was a great routine there by Brandon Wynn to finish
Yeah,
off
that
the
was
rotation.
huge. Huge.
Yeah, so after two, looks like Cal kind of separated against Air Force. And while we're still waiting on that final score for Stanford, OU has a 110-2 and Cal with a 106-1. Currently 1-2.
Yeah. Looks like we missed out on Fuzzy's final score too. I mean, take a look at that. 14.6 start value, 14.1. He got the stick bonus, so it isn't, he was at a 9.4 execution, but that is crazy.
That's just really, you can't do a routine much better than that. It was
I
a
don't think so.
fantastic routine.
Yeah.
Still waiting on Brandon Wynn's score, which I assume will be a very nice one. And
Yeah.
up next, I want to just say for the record, everybody talks about these super high pommel horse teams like, your Illinois and your Stanfords and stuff like that. Watch out for Air Force. They are currently ranked 4th nationally on the event as a team, especially with Jack Matlock and Patrick Hoops. So that's going to be a fun watch as well.
Oh yeah, that 1-2 punch is frightening. Any team sees that and you're scared.
Yes, both men currently rank in the top 10 on the event nationally. I mean, Patrick Hoops is number 1 in the country currently.
Yep. He was the pommel horse champion at last year's Olympic trials. Alternate for the Olympic team. So he's got it.
Yep. And then on top of that, you're going to see some pretty nice stuff on high bar from OU. You can see California get strong, be the first team on rings for the night. And then Stanford on floor is going to be such a fun watch as well. Really, every rotation in this competition is just stacked with immense talent and difficulty.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, OU on high bar, Kelton Christensen coming in with, he's got some of the best turning elements I've seen in the NCAA. He's so good at hitting that handstand. He's got that same Winkler, the full twisting Jaeger that we saw from Taylor Burkhart, and then Emery Dodonley finishing them out. Huge releases, just like we saw from Brendan Wynn, the Cassina, Coleman. He's one of the most exciting guys to watch on high bar.
Yeah, and then I want to make a shout out for Theodore Goderud on rings. He is one strong man. I tell you that. So he's going to be very exciting to watch on rings as well.
Oh yeah.
So through 2 events, what surprised you so far?
Ooh, what surprised me so far? I guess I'm a little surprised at how well athletes have been coming back from any mistakes. We've seen a few here and there, and these guys are wrapping up their routines pretty much perfectly after that.
Yeah, very minimal mistakes on top of that, but when a big one does arise, everybody does seem to calm down and get back to basics and back to their gymnastics.
Yeah, it shows the mental fortitude, and that's something that you do need to practice very, very hard in the gym. It doesn't just come easily.
It does not. It takes months upon months of practice.
Yeah, and I think it bodes well for all these teams as they're going into the NCAA championships in 2 weeks.
Yep, and the third rotation's about to get underway. Stanford on floor, Air Force on horse, Cal on rings, and Oklahoma on high bar. Huge full double front there. Start off that routine. I want to make a note about rings. The Iron Cross has been upgraded this year as well as part of the new code changes, so you're going to see a lot more cross elements in these routines.
Just wanted to ask, is that a McGillney we just saw on pommel horse? I don't see many of those.
One of the more unique travel skills on horse as Ty Gopal finishes up his horse set.
I love it.
Very well done. He's a traveling machine, I can tell you that.
Oh yeah, I could see. There's the patented OU stick. They're so good at sticking. And when we were talking about that 1/10 bonus, goes a long way over 24 routines.
I mean, you get 24 sticks, that's 2.4 tenths added to your overall score. That 2.4 could go such a long way. And of course, you're not going to get 24 for 24 sticks unless your team is just seeing the ground unconsciously. But every tenth matters, and that's something that we've both experienced in our time competing in the NCAA.
Yeah. Definitely won some meets by, 2-3 tenths, and have definitely lost some meets by 2 to 3 tenths.
It really is that imperative that every tenth matters in your routines.
Yeah.
And so far, we've actually pretty much seen that today.
Ooh, it's pretty tough judging on pommel horse. I thought that was a solid routine.
I also did. That's
we see a 7.5 in execution.
Well.
Yeah, I think that's low.
The judges are going to be tough, and they're just going to be tough.
Yeah. A hit routine is a hit routine, regardless.
Yep, that is very true.
You get that momentum going.
Got Eric Upton.
Big.
We're still waiting on the other events to get going for their second competitor.
Yeah. Looks like rings is getting started.
Yep, looks like floor is also getting started. Wow.
Same full double front to start off as we saw from Jeremy Bischoff.
And a very nice hit for Eric Upton on pommel horse there for Air Force.
Yeah.
See, there's another cross element there on rings for Cal. And cross is such a huge part of gymnastics in general, but now more so than ever because of its upgrade.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the first thing anyone who doesn't do gymnastics asks is, "Oh, can you do that iron cross?" Yes, yes, I can. Not
And they
anymore,
kept asking me,
but I
and
used
I was like,
to.
nah. I could do a couple other things on rings, but I could not do a cross. There's a reason why I was a floor guy in
Yeah,
college. Whoa, that was huge.
yeah. Thought he was gonna drop
That
into
was
that, but just barely missed the
almost
stick.
parachuted too early, but
Yeah.
very, very well done, I will
High
say.
bar winding up, big Casina.
Cena, wow.
And Coleman looks like it's Fuzzy Bennis up on high bar.
Yeah. You can tell by how clean he really is.
Yeah. And how in control he looks.
Yes. He's one of the few gymnasts that I've seen like internationally that can do the level of difficulty that he can do and just about as clean as you can do it.
Yep.
See, and another stick.
There they are, 2 for 2. Oh boy. They're bringing the heat.
They are bringing the heat as Theodore Goddard is getting ready for rings for Cal, and Jack Matlock getting ready on horse for Air Force.
Nice,
Now,
getting in that back half of the lineup.
Jack Matlock actually has a victory over his teammate Patrick Hoops earlier this year.
Oh,
So
really?
he has the opportunity to really put up a big number.
Nice. Well, we
And
saw that
12-8 for Eric Upton.
14-4 from Aiden Lee earlier. So for a conference title, that's the mark right now.
100%. And judging by the pommel horse scores from both Cal and Air Force right now, it seems like they are trying to be a little tougher, which
Yeah.
honestly is okay.
Yeah.
Just make
as
sure
long
you
as
hit
they're
your routine.
even. Yeah. As long as they're equal on across every team.
Yep.
Judge how you want to
100%.
judge.
Here we go.
Nice flopping
Nice
skills.
back upright straight planche.
Yeah, there's that strongman Theo you were talking about.
Yeah.
Ooh, straight. Straight arm, straight body press. Pretty hard, at least
And
I always found it
look
really
at
hard.
that Driggs on pommel horse
Yeah.
and just dismount. Boom. Wow. Very well done by Jack Matlock. And dismount on rings. Laid out double.
Whoa.
Wow.
F value, that's huge.
And a pretty clean landing, might I say.
Yeah. That's going to be a big score for Cal. They're going to like that one.
Very big score. Strength and handstands all were held and looked very presentable, so that should score well. And then next on pommel horse, Patrick Hoops.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Yep. Holds the United States Air Force Academy record. Olympic trial champion, as Akash mentioned earlier. He has competed at multiple World Cups in the past few years. National team member, the works. This is definitely one of the stars of the Air Force Academy program.
Yep, and we see Jack Matlock putting up that big score.
Wow,
5-2,
that's a
8-8.
great score. And a 13.65 on rings.
Wow.
And a 14.15 on floor for Cooper
These are
Kim.
some big scores.
Laid out double right there.
Oh man, too many big routines happening at the same time.
Oh, this is great. Oh, that was huge. There goes Patty, and this flop is one of the hardest in the world.
The G flop, is that right?
It might be an H. I'm not completely sure. Might have to ask
You're
Patty
right.
since he's one of like 3 guys that does it.
It is an H. He did the 3/4 sewn in front of it.
Yep.
So that adds an
And then a
extra
Driggs
10.
right there. All that's left is the dismount. Wow, what a routine there by Patrick Hoops.
That may be your conference champion right there.
Maybe, but we still have some guys left to go on that event.
That is gonna be a hard one
Big
to beat,
dismount on rings.
but
Yeah.
we've got at least 2 guys coming up that can. Let's see.
Huge double-double there to
Double
end off his
twisted
floor
double.
routine.
As a dismount,
That's
that is wild.
kind of unfair.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kelton Christensen. Oh,
Ginger late in the routine, yeah.
yeah. He did a really
Wasn't able to
nice
get it up over the
connection.
bar.
Yeah. He did the half talk to the Ganger connection. Guess just didn't have the juice to pull that kip over the top. But
Another stick.
3 for 3 on the sticks.
That's impressive. That is very impressive.
Looks like these teams are really getting in their groove now.
This is becoming a great competition. Just in general, there's so much great gymnastics happening, no matter where you look.
Yeah.
Looks like we
On
got
floor, we
Asher getting
see,
ready for floor.
Yep, Olympic bronze medalist, Asher Hahn. We saw
The amount
Taylor
of-
was doing some big high flying skills. Asher is also capable and does some of these big connections, big,
And there's that
high double
score.
flipping and twisting. That is
Might
unreal.
I say, 14-9 is large. That is he had a 9-0 execution score. They found 1 point off only.
I don't know where they
That's
found
incredible.
that. To be honest, I think 9.0 might be even too low.
Yeah, but they're judging tough, as we were saying. So
They are.
But that is once again huge. He scored a 15.15 in his last competition at the USAG Championships.
Wow. That's going to be a tough one to beat.
I think so, but like I said, we still have some guys that can put up those numbers if they hit their routines as well as that Patty hit his.
Yeah. I think Ignacio Yakers from Oklahoma has
Yep, and
at least a 15.9 difficulty. Same
He's
start
got
value as Patty.
he's had a few different start values this year, but his routine that I would expect from him tonight is a 5.9, maybe 6.0.
Yeah.
And then obviously Koi Young.
Yeah, world silver medalist. He's proven he's, one of the best in the world, along there with Patty. So it's going to be a battle.
It's going to be such a huge battle. Huge score for Taylor Burkhart on floor, 14.35.
Big. And he's coming off of a World Cup gold medal on floor in the latest Antalya World Cup in Turkey.
Oh yeah,
We've got some international, prowess here.
Yeah, we got some international gymnastics. Big, double full, double front. That was a dream pass for me.
Yeah.
And then
Only in
full
my
punch
dreams.
Double pike. Yeah, only in my dreams, man. We got Emery O'Donnelly on high bar for OU.
Yep. Like
He's
I was
also got
mentioning.
incredible cleanliness on this event.
Yeah. High flying, big casino.
Hard Cena. Yeah, typically you don't see many people do the casino without the Coleman.
Yeah. Very similar skills. Very high value too, so if you can do one, or if you can do the harder
Very
one,
much
the
worth
casino,
it.
you might as well just do the Coleman.
Yep, it's very much worth it.
Yeah. And I'd like to point out, we're talking international prowess. Emre is also a Turkish national team member and Turkish Olympian, actually.
Yep.
Was a critical
And a
part of their
stuck
team.
double dismount. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, but
You're good.
huge.
That is crazy. How are they pulling off doubles as dismounts? Gymnastics gets
It's
harder and harder every year, I swear.
Beyond me. But yeah, as you were saying, yeah, Emery did compete for the Turkish national team. Um, that was at the Olympics, correct? Like you were saying.
That was, yeah.
Yeah. Just want to make sure I had my facts straight too.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a great ending to rotation number 3. A lot
Seriously,
of great gymnastics we just got to see.
that might
And
have been
Air
one of
Force,
the best rotations I've seen in college gymnastics.
yes, overall, and Air Force looks like they have pulled within less than 2 points with Cal, and Oklahoma and Stanford are neck and neck at currently.
Yeah.
We knew it was going to be a good one.
Yeah.
We're
Let's
still
see.
waiting on the final scores for those, but
Yep. And they're both going to be big scores. We'll see how big the differential is.
I guess it'll be within a point.
I, I have no doubt.
Huge scores on floor for Stanford. And Cal with a little bit like, I don't want to say they were low scores. It just seemed like they were just getting judged on rings and very consistent, might I say. Like they looked good. Like all the routines looked very solid. Their strength looked well. So honestly, very solid still rings from them.
Yeah.
Emery
Dio
score
with that
comes in at
13.65 is going to be a big one.
Yes, that is a huge routine.
Yeah. But yeah, like you were
Wow.
saying, that 14.3 on high bar to Asher's 14.2 on floor. Still neck
Yeah.
and neck, but OU's keeping that lead, and a 14.3 on high bar, that is, I don't even know how to put that into words. Unheard of. That is
You
world
do it much better than I
class.
could.
Yeah.
That is world class. That is top notch high bar, and it was definitely up there. If you can just watch the gymnastics straight up.
Yeah. I mean, Oklahoma putting up a 55 on high bar, even with, that mishap on that kip from Kelton Christensen. 13.55 with, 5/10 deduction going the wrong way. They would have been a major threat on high bar.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh
then
yeah.
check out Stanford's floor team score, 56.
Gosh. That's averaging almost a 14
Yeah,
through those four routines.
wild.
That is incredible. Ooh. Gotta take a breath for a second there after that. That was a lot of great gymnastics.
There's too much going on there. Let's check out the lineups on these next events. Oklahoma will be on floor, where they have always been powerhouses. I don't think there's been a single year where I wouldn't put my money on OU being first or second best team in the country on floor.
You got that right.
Yeah. Commodores. We got big hitters here too for Stanford, and we were talking Coy Young, that major hitter at the end.
Yeah, but any of those guys can really put up a big number on horse. So
Yeah,
definitely
absolutely.
something that we can't wait to see. And then on rings, guys looking at Air Force, they don't have the best difficulty on rings as a team. However, they do have some very clean routines as well. So it's going to be very exciting to see how they do. And lastly, Cal is on vault. And man, I watched Cal one competition stick 3 out of 4, and they were all 15-2, 14-8 or above.
Yeah,
Vaults.
I was at that competition. I went to go watch that live, and I mean the energy in that arena was crazy.
That
It was
was
so much fun.
I was even going crazy sitting here at
I
home.
was jumping in my seat.
Man, it looks like we're getting started. Rings is already gone. Circling on horse at the moment as well. Looks like Mapper going on floor for OU. So far, good clean routine on rings. Very clean, nice dismount. And big vault, almost a little too big.
Ooh, something I don't see very often, a straight planche on the floor.
And that was actually upgraded this year as well. That is now worth a C value skill. So it's definitely a lot more worth it. And there's a stick on rings there for Air Force.
Full
Ty
twist and
Gopal.
double layout. Love it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, man. Just not enough rotation there.
yeah, he was having a
13
killer
stick
routine
that
up to
vault.
then. Yeah, those steps are going to be really
And
costly for
but,
vaults. But
but that stick definitely helps them out there.
again, there it is. You know, he has that fall, it comes right back and sticks that dismount. Going to minimize those deductions.
Here we go for our second vault.
Galen Curry, he's got a big, powerful vault here.
That was big. And once again, she's a little too much big.
Yeah.
A little too big. But very gorgeous in the air.
Yeah. He's got great technique, great form onto the table, and even, you know, through the rest of the skill.
So we're just waiting on everybody else to get settled in.
Yep. 13-4-5.
13-4-5.
For Stanford on pommel horse. It's a good start.
Yep. Honestly, not a bad score on rings there either. Just about a 1.5 in deduction.
Yeah. Rings is very hard to get a high difficulty score if you're not, you know, one of those really strong guys.
Just got to make sure you execute at a high level.
Exactly. And stuck dismount.
We got Dennis
helps out.
Or May on rings now. Sorry.
Yeah. Theo Gatter.
So much going on.
Big vault here, double front.
Double front. Oh, man.
So close to that stick. Took a tiny
hop.
hop.
He shuffled just a little bit.
Yeah, right. He didn't need to take that up. He just did it.
No. Oh, man. That was beautiful. Nice straight press there on rings by Dennis Iramea for Air Force.
You see a Buznari on pommel horse.
Buznari.
Yeah.
That's high risk. It's one of my favorite skills in gymnastics.
Yeah. High reward, though. F value skill.
Yeah. No kidding. Ooh, big little split there, but it's all right. Double layout. Just a slight hop on rings. Very good job there. This is a great fight. He's staying on.
Yeah.
Now he's bringing front away on floor. Nice, huge laid out full in.
Beautiful double front stick. Lands with his feet together, too. Don't see that very often.
That's hard to do. That was a very nice vault there by Smith Gordon.
Smith Gordon, yep. I know he's capable of doing the triple, so that 2.5. You know, he's kicking out and looking for that landing.
You see him do that, and seen him do that triple in person once before, and hard not to be in awe of it.
Yeah. Nice connection.
13.05 for Dennis Iramea on rings.
Solid.
12.85 for Matthew Burgoyne on floor. And here comes his dismount.
Put down the stick. Yes, he can.
Oh man, that's 2 for 2 on floor now on final dismount passes. It looks like we got Eric Upton on rings for Air Force. And I believe is that Taylor Burkhart ready to go on pommel horse next for Stanford?
Looks like it.
Looks like it.
He's got a lot of flares in his routine, and he actually competes V Burkhart skill he created. I feel like saying 2023.
Pretty cool to have a skill named after you.
Yeah. Yep. Winding up for that dismount. Double twisting.
Double stick. A lot of sticky feet in this rotation.
Yeah. See those flares getting started.
Very nice flare work. Very open on his hips.
Oh, and he fell on his own skill, the Burkhardt. It's a tough one. It's a really, really tough one. Full spindling, flared side travel.
Oh,
There's a lot going on there. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. That's a pretty difficult skill to get named after you. That's some legacy.
Yeah, right? See if we can bring it back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
And another
unfortunate
fall.
Break there. And up next on floor, it looks like we got Fuzzy Ben is getting ready to salute. And then looks like Charlie Miles is getting ready to be the anchor for Air Force on rings. Wow, very nicely done.
Sticky feet.
Sticky feet. Light hop there.
Oh,
triple side pass.
You know, that used to be the most common dismount. I used to do it. I did it for probably 10 years. But I guess now people are doing it as a side pass because you got a double flip on that dismount.
Yeah, I did. I did that my last 2 years in college as well. And if for those of you watching rings, Charlie Miles did a whip it to cross and then pulled up back into a support L hold, which is very uncommon.
Yeah, crazy hard. Pulling out of that cross. Yeah. Monstrously difficult. Is that 3 for 3 sticks for her OU?
I think so. Yes, it is.
Wow.
Jasper Smith Gordon with a 14.25 to end the rotation for Cal on vault. Very, very nice score there. And then it looks like next is Emery on floor and Coy on horse.
Ooh, 2 big routines.
These are 2 world-class routines.
Yeah.
Emery's tumbling is probably some of my favorite in the world to watch. Just always in awe with his amplitude. And then Coy on pommel is honestly almost self-explanatory. The dude is incredible at this event. The way he swings is just so aggressive, but it flows so well.
Yeah. And you know, he's got a lot of pressure on him with Taylor just coming out with 2 falls. You know, hit it. There's the score, 11-5. He's got to put up a big score here.
Need a big score now. Looks like Coy's going to get started first. Scissor hand. Very clean.
Textbook. He's also doing that Buznari.
He just makes that look so easy. And Emery's getting started on floor as well. Oh, wait. Oh, he psyched me out. This circle is just so fluid. Nice fight there.
He's got that rhythm.
Great rhythm.
Amazing.
Wow. Great routine. Great routine. You think that's going to be enough?
That's tough. You know, he didn't do the E dismount. And that's going to be a 2/10 swing in his difficulty score. And I think that might be enough to give the, you know, be not enough to beat Patrick Hoops.
14-2 for Fuzzy on floor with a 12.65 for Charlie on rings.
Wow. 9.1 execution. Has Fuzzy gone above a 9.0 on every routine he's done today?
I think so. I honestly think so.
He's got to be, you know, in the running for one of the top all-around scores right now.
Yeah. Wow, that was very huge laid out double-double.
Too much power.
Man, to do those passes back-to-back, you're basically doing G and then F to start off your routine. Now, so just for a note, that pass, that 2.5 punch full, actually does not get you connection bonus in this code. It has to be done with one skill being a twist and one skill being a double flipping skill, or anything connected with a double flipping skill for that matter.
Wow.
Like that would get connection bonus, and that was large.
Yeah. Layout punch Randy. I mean, that's a first pass. You see people do that to begin.
Yeah.
He's doing that right before his dismount.
Can imagine how big his dismount is. Double layout, slightly big hop at the end, but overall, very great set by Emery. As you see, Koi's score came in at a 14.45,
Yep.
and it looks like a change for Tygo Paul's score to a 12.95, up 1/10. Looks like they gave him that stick bonus that they didn't give him earlier.
Good, good. I mean, that was a textbook stick. Got to give it to
Yep.
him.
All right, as we wait on Emery's score, let's take a look back at the event. Man, some big gymnastics happening.
Yeah. Air Force and Cal put it together. They had some great, great rotations. Stanford and OU, some great and some not so great. We saw Taylor with some falls on pommel horse, and Matthew with a fall on floor. But the other three guys in those lineups picked up the slack and just kept it going. So I think, pommel horse is a little bit of a lower scoring event, and OU's got some huge scores on floor, so we're going to see a little more separation between them.
Looks like it.
But Stanford still has rings and vaults, big scoring events for them, and OU
And mind
has
you,
pommel horse.
OU is done on vault.
They are, yes. Which is, vault is usually the highest scoring event.
Yes.
So
And
yeah, we'll see. We'll
lot
see
of
Stanford
gymnastics
at a bit
left.
of a deficit, but yeah, there is a lot of gymnastics left. And again, Cal here too. Cal is, it looks like 6 points ahead of Air Force, but Air Force has vault coming up. It's going to be some big
Air Force
scores.
is sneakily good on P-bars too. So
Yeah,
I mean, Cal's got to still be hot coming into those last two events.
yep.
The
And they end on
13.9
high
for
bar.
Emery.
13-9.
Yeah, they end
yeah.
on high bar.
There was a
Ending
lot
on
of
high bar.
there was a lot of hopping for Emery 13, so a lot of
A
ductions.
little bit more
there,
hoppy
but
than we're used to
yeah,
from him. But still, 55 event total on floor is definitely a good spot to be in.
yeah. You break a 55, that's great. Breaking a 56 is crazy. You got
Wow.
a fantastic rotation.
Yeah, this is going to be a great finish, these last two events, as we look at what's coming up next. Pommel horse, we have our fourth of the four highlighted gymnasts on horse. Ignacio Yockers being the anchor for a very stacked pommel horse team for OU once
Yeah,
again.
don't sleep on Zach Nunez. He is
Oh, nope.
sneaky good.
His circle is very mesmerizing, I will tell you that.
Yeah, he's overshadowed by Ignacio, but I think he's one of the best pommel workers in the country as well.
Typically, like if I want to compare it to Air Force, as I'm a little bit more accustomed to watching their gymnastics through the years, he's like Jack Matlock to me. Jack
Exactly.
scored 14 on a horse, but he had to be right before, an NCAA champion.
Yeah.
Who scored a 14.9.
Yeah.
So I can understand what you're saying there.
Yeah. And on rings, we're gonna see some strong men. Especially those last two, Mark Berlaga and Asher Hong. They do some crazy strength, inverted crosses. See some big dismounts. It's going to be a big rotation.
It's going to be a huge rotation on rings for Stanford. And typically you don't think that rings will be one of your higher scoring events, but if you're a team like Stanford, you're going to put up a big score anyway and just tell everybody else, hey, we got this.
Yeah.
But honestly, you would think, rings and pommel horse are these really low scoring events, but teams like OU and Stanford can make them into high scoring ones if they so desire.
That is very true.
Yep, and here we go with the fifth rotation. Starting off with Jack Fulton for Air Force on vault. All right, that was pretty good. A little bit lower start value than we're used to from the rest of the competition, but still, nonetheless, a difficult vault.
Yep. Looks like he's going real hard for that stick. Undercutting him a little bit. Oh, Zach Nunez fighting.
Oh, man. Almost a great save.
Looked like he had it going, but then just came off on that next circle.
Just not enough. But it's okay. He'll come back strong. I know it. We've seen him do some awesome work on horse all year long. So that's just a very weird mistake that we don't normally see.
Yeah.
And a good P-bars routine there for Cal.
Yeah. Arun Chitri finishing out. Nice layout, or full twisting double layout. He's got maybe one or two strength skills that looks really good at the beginning, but then he's got those swing skills on lock. Beautiful swing, makes it look effortless, very clean. I saw it this one.
The swinging elements on rings are very important because you could actually lose a lot of tenths just by doing slight little ones and here and there.
Definitely.
Another huge double full on vault for Jared Fry for Air Force. Slight step back, but all in all, pretty decent vault. Now it looks like the second competitors are waiting on all the other three apparatus.
Scores coming in 13-6 to start off on rings for Chit 3.
That's just huge. And that's just the appetizer.
Yeah.
Here's Brian Woofeden on vault for Air Force. Oh.
Was that intentional? It looked like he got a little lost.
This was his first competition competing vault this year. I think he got a little too overzealous on it.
I wanted to point out a really cool bazoogo, the reverse work here on pommel horse.
Overall, solid routines there from Stanford and OU on rings and pommel horse there as well. Colt Walker on rings.
Yep, good for OU.
Colt Walker's another strong
guy. Yeah. OU, they stopped the bleeding there. Fall in the previous previous.
Good save there on P-bars.
Yeah, deep squat.
So much going on.
No fall.
And beautiful 2.5 to finish off the rotation for Air Force on vault by Eric Upton, who is also very capable of doing a triple full on the event.
That looked too easy. He's also, a guy who's been having super solid day today. He's definitely in the running for that all-around title.
Oh yeah. He finished tied for second in the regular season standings. Mm-hmm. While we didn't see a bunch of the high-profile all-arounders do all-around all year, definitely is still a nice feather in your cap, especially being at Air Force. So it's always good to just keep your consistency going and compete at a high level the entire year. And he's certainly done that.
Yep. So some big stuff here on rings.
Yep.
Looking really strong.
Oh, man.
That late in the routine.
And lowers down to Maltese. And honestly, it's very flat. So not much I don't think you can take there. Backup rise Maltese. So much strength to be done that late in a set is difficult to say the least.
Yeah, he makes it look so easy. Here, wind up for the big double twisting double layout. Stick.
Oh. Wow.
That's going to be really hard to beat.
And there's a great routine there on pommel horse for OU.
Yeah.
I believe that was Flores. You got Theo Godrud on P bars for Cal Berkeley. Nice peach at the end of the bars. Also got to mention Theo does get lost in the shuffle when it comes to all-arounders as well. He's a very solid all-arounder for Cal as he sticks to double front.
And he's hyped for that, as he should be.
Yeah. No doubt, no doubt. And then next, we have Ignacio Yockers coming up to the plate.
Oh, out the big guns.
Trying to bat one out of the park for OU here.
Yeah. I mean, he's following up Tyler Flores, who went 13-9, so the momentum's picking up.
Yep, for sure. Flop.
He could have done the triple.
Looks like he's not doing his Busanari yet. I guess he's not doing his Busanari today.
Looks like he's going for... I hesitate to say an easy routine because it's just slightly easier than the crazy hard routine he usually can do.
Yeah, it's a 5.6 compared to a 5.9.
Yeah, in favor of a perfect routine.
But was able to get it up. Wow, way to save that.
Yeah. It's going to be a big score. We'll see where it lands.
Oh, man.
And then Mark Berlaga.
Azarian to Maltese.
After an Azarian to planche.
And then just casually follows it back up with a backup rise Maltese.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely insane.
Yeah, he's following up. We just got the score 14.8 from Asher Hong on rings.
My goodness.
Even breaking a 14 is supposed to be something really difficult on rings, and he's hitting a 14.8.
Yeah, and flirting with a 15 on rings is unheard of.
Yeah.
And like at any level. Very nice double layout stick.
There's that big rings rotation for Stanford. And they're going to end on vault.
Definitely delivered. Big scores coming up.
Yep. We see they already closed the gap. And if we're looking at their team scores without the last scores in.
Yeah. Great save on that Diamondov.
Yeah. Great lineup so far for every team.
Yeah. Great job there. Ben Bardana to finish up for Cal on P-bars. That was another great rotation of gymnastics. Definitely heading into this final event, it's going to be a very, very big competition.
Looks like only a 14.25 for Ignacio Yockers. 5.3 start value. I guess he didn't do his Busanari, and he didn't do his full Russian flop. So I'm guessing that's where the tenths went away.
Might have been having him go for cleanliness on that one as a team value, which is totally fair.
Yeah, I mean, it's still, the top scorer that OU has, and a seriously fantastic score. They put up a 54.6, flirting with that 55.
Mm-hmm.
And Stanford with a huge 55.65 on rings.
That's unheard of, man. That's insane.
Yeah. Almost a 14 average there, and really it's mostly because of Hasher Hong here, 14.8. Everyone else keeping it to the high 13s.
Yeah, but even then, with the other three routines averaging almost like a 13.625-ish.
Yeah.
Around that area, like that's incredible.
And Air Force looks like the first two guys had, they went out of bounds. So you're seeing that little red dot there for the neutral deduction.
And then that one mistake, that was supposed to be a costal and a half.
Yeah.
And then Eric Upton finished off the rotation. Yeah, and finished off the rotation with a very nice 2.5 twisting Sugahara, or 1.5 twisting Kazamatsu.
That actually seems kind of low to me. I thought it was a better vault than that. Beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, the judges are going to do it. You're going to see it how they see it. And that's just how it goes. And we've seen that with a couple of routines today. So
yeah,
especially on horse.
Yeah, especially on horse. Cal plugging along on P-bars. Theo here, the huge score there, 13.9. Getting real close to that 14.0 we saw from Colt Walker.
Yep, that's one of the higher scores on the day for parallel bars. And might I note, in that competition against Air Force coming into today, to outpace them on vault by 0.05 on P bars is a huge deal going into the final event.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Last rotation. So, just want to get a quick thought. How has the competition shaped up in your eyes? Like, has it been what you expected? Has it been more? Has it been less?
I think there have been some more falls than I was expecting, but there have been the highs have been much higher than I would have thought. It is super cool to watch. These, like we were talking about, absolutely world class routines being done.
Yeah, 100%.
Going to the last rotation, everything is really, really close right now. It may seem like Cal is pulled far ahead of Air Force, but Air Force
they're on high bar, and Air Force has a good P bar. Has a good P bar team.
Yep, anything can happen on high bar. You go for a release, you need to catch back onto the bar. If you don't, you're gone.
Got to put the dismount to your feet.
Yep.
Got to make sure angles are hit.
Yeah. And OU Stanford, it's out a little over a point in differential.
But the one problem is, the one problem is for OU right now, Stanford is on vault.
Yep. Let's see what they can do with Taylor Burkhardt here.
That is one of the most unique vaults we will see, and it is done probably just about as well as you can do it.
Yep, the Yurchenko half twist onto the table, double full off.
I believe that's a 5.0 start value.
That is a 5.0 start value.
We got Tygo Paul starting off for Air Force on parallel bars.
Big Tkachev on high bars for Cal.
Very big Tkachev.
There's that cross you were talking about on rings. It's been increased in value, so it's really worth it to do it now.
Very much so. Half and half outs. Oh, just a slight hop. He wanted that stick, you can tell.
They're going to need those sticks to keep Air Force at bay.
Yep. Very much so. Overall, very good routine. Oh, and another stick for OU. That's going to definitely help them keep pace with Stanford.
Yep. Yurchenko double full for Stanford. a little lower start value, but that Yurchenko vault is super clean. Took a slight hop. You could see his chest was super high up, so not much deduction to take.
Yeah, Yurchenko vaults are always one of those vaults types that you can almost get away with cleanliness because they're so hard to really split your legs or bend your arms if unless you actually just intentionally do it.
Yeah.
It's definitely a good way to up your execution. Not saying that it makes it any easier, just it's definitely a lot more opportunity for better execution.
Asher on vault here. He's doing it. He does a full
We did
twisting
it!
double
We
back.
won! Wow.
Wow. That might be the single hardest skill in all of gymnastics.
I would have to agree with you on that. That is rare. It is incredibly rare.
Rare to the point
Especially
of
on
maybe 3 to 5 people in the world do it, with Asher being one of
yes.
them.
There's been videos of him doing that in training competitions and sticking it, going overseas, only taking like 1/10 hops out of it, and just it's absolutely massive.
Yeah, I mean, they need that if they're gonna catch up to OU.
Yep. Looks like we got Fuzzy on rings.
See if he could get
And
that
Jack
9-1
Fulton.
execution or 9-0 plus
Oh yeah,
execution on rings here too.
that would be insane. And Jack Fulton on P bars for Air Force. Wow,
Beautiful
very
bob
nice
star.
pop star.
Named after my cousin Raj Bhavsar. Shout out family.
Another amazing American gymnast. Seems like great gymnastics run in the family.
I guess so.
So we're gearing up for something big on high bar. Kovacs, very well done. And another great routine on P bars by Air Force. Very
He's
good job by
looking for that
Jack
stick.
Fulton.
Looking for that
Almost.
stick. Took a slight step back. That's good. We'll take that.
Just take that. Minimize your deductions wherever you can. Double, double, just slight hop forward, but overall, very nice routine for the Golden Bears. I believe that was Carter Kim.
Colt Walker. Nice.
Man,
Cause 1.5 with
massive.
too much juice.
Colt's another one of those guys that can sneak into that, like event conversation in NCAAs on multiple events.
Yeah,
His
absolutely.
gymnastics is very nice. And Fuzzy with a 13.05 on rings. And Asher with a 14.15. That's, wow. Even a little lower than I expected, but still.
Yeah. Fuzzy half a tenth away from breaking that 9-0 in execution.
Oh, man. That would have been, what, 6 for 6?
Yeah. Nice. Got the uprise planche straight to the Maltese.
Very beautifully done. Matthew Burgoyne is another strong rings gymnast. He's capable of putting up some big numbers on this event, too. A nice 13.2 from Jack Fulton for Air Force.
Solid.
On T-bars. Very solid routine. And 12.8 for Carter Kim seems a little lower than I would have thought, but judges are doing their thing, and it's okay.
High bar judges are always tough.
Always tough, but if you can stay on the bar, stay on your feet, it's always a good thing. Now we got Charlie Miles for Air Force on parallel bars. Nice peach. Oh, talk full on high bar there. Very nicely done.
And the half top topped out, looking real good.
Ooh, a little close on that. Double front, just slight hop. Nice routine from Charlie Miles. These Tkachevs, he's catching them. It's just, he's making them work.
Yeah.
Oh. Tough dismount there, but I believe he stayed on his feet.
Yeah. It's Tyler Shimizu with Cal on high bar. Beautiful turning
Awesome.
and in-bar skills.
100%. Hit handstands, and that is basically textbook on high bar. It's always catch the bar, but you got to remember the angles are very important as well.
That 13.8 for Colt Walker.
And Matt Burgoyne had a 14.0, if you didn't see that.
Yeah, that's big.
So outpace vault on a rings routine is pretty huge.
Yep. And it looks like it's going to come down to the wire for this.
It looks like it.
This conference title. Oklahoma is down by 13.85. So.
And this is a guy that can definitely do it.
He can do it, but he needs to do a great routine.
Perfect.
It's looking great so far.
This is looking incredible. It's got to be a stick. Can he get the stick?
Pretty darn close.
Pretty close.
I could not tell you. I could not tell you who's going to win this.
That could be the biggest routine of the night.
That could be. I mean, it all came down to this. This is.
Yep. Everything we wanted.
Yeah.
But next on P-Bars, the anchor spot, is Eric Upton, who's had a great day on the all-around. And he's capable of putting up a big number on parallel bars as well.
Nice peach.
He's got great lines. Whenever Eric Upton would do a perfect routine in practice or in competition, we would call it an Erich special. And
you see,
very special.
See Oklahoma cheering in the back there. 14.05.
Wow, they got the score.
The victory by
nice
2/10.
There. OU has won the conference. OU has won
margin.
The MPSF. That is incredible. What a competition. And it wasn't even a perfect competition by any stretch of the imagination. Both of those teams could do it at an even higher level.
Yeah. We saw multiple falls. And Theo Gatter, he did. He went long jump on that one.
But overall, great routine for him too. That was a great ending. All four teams with a very solid end to the competition.
Big day.
Very big day. And it looks like the Oklahoma Sooners are going to walk out of Colorado Springs MPSF champions.
And, you know, it's only 2/10, but it is still a win. And that's going to do wonders for their confidence going into the NCAA championships. And it also sends a statement, you know, that Stanford has won 5 years in a row. They just got beaten at conference championships. Shows that anything could happen at NCAA championships.
Big score for Air Force to end the meet. 13-6 from Eric Upton with an 8-9 execution.
Huge.
Waiting on Theo Gotterud. But currently as it stands, with how it went in Big Ten championships last night, with Michigan going 330, it'd be very interesting to see who actually gets that top spot overall by average. I do believe it will still be Oklahoma, but it definitely going to be a close call on that regard.
Agreed.
But overall, Air Force putting up a 313.35 and Cal putting up a 315.45. That is going to be huge for positioning when it comes to the placement battle for NCAA championships in 2 weeks.
Definitely. And, Air Force was ranked number 9 coming into this. Cal was ranked number 10. I think they might flip-flop after this. Cal just put up their top score of the year by over a point.
It honestly might look like that both teams might be able to leap Navy.
Yeah, I think that may
If
be
my judgment,
possible.
if my judgment is correct, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, you're good.
My judgment is correct. This meet still takes place of your highest score
Yes.
during the regular season. So I believe Cal and Air Force might have had an opportunity to jump Navy as well, but that is something we have to still wait and see when all the averages are tallied up.
Yep. Let's take a look at the event titles and event rankings here. We got our first event conference champion here, Taylor Burkhart of Stanford. 14.35. Takes it over a two-way tie for silver. Fuzzy Benes and Asher Hong with a 14.2.
Look at those execution scores, though. All of them are within 1.5.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yep. And we see Taylor had that 15.6 start value. That helps a lot. That, he has 6/10 over Fuzzy, and even though his execution wasn't as great, no stick, it's enough. The difficulty score, bumps you up.
Being clean is very important, but difficulty is also just as important.
Yeah.
You just got to make sure whatever difficulty you do, you got to do it well.
Yeah. And I'd like to point out the difference between first and eighth there was 5/10. So
that's insane.
It was really, really close meet. That's what you want.
And then I got on. And yeah, that's a great competition. And now on pommel horse, we got your number 1 overall pommel horse specialist, Patrick Hoops for Air Force, taking first by point. What is that? 0.45?
Yep.
That's a pretty big margin. Remember, floor was a margin of 0.5. This was a margin of 0.45, just between first and second.
Yeah, clear cut, winner over there. His routine was the hardest, and it was the best executed. 9-0 execution is huge. But rounding out the medal stand, we give Coy Young. He was expected to do well as a previous world silver medalist. And Aiden Lee of Cal taking the bronze. Ignacio Yakers was the other pommel horse guy that was in the conversation, and he rounds out that top 4.
Yeah, and we know that Ignacio can do much higher difficulty than his 5.3. I believe that Oklahoma just wanted him to do a watered down set just to make sure that they get a big hit, and it certainly paid dividends in the end.
Definitely.
And as you can see, Jack Matlock with his 14 rounding out the top 5 as well.
Yeah.
For Air Force. So the Air Force guys living up to their name when it comes to the pommel horse standings. But that's not discrediting any of these guys. They all did incredibly well today.
Definitely. Moving on to the rings. Here's another, major gap between champion and the rest of the field. Asher Hong, by far the highest difficulty, has the highest execution, stuck his dismount, 14.8. He's almost pushing into that 15 range, where we see Tosh Haidu with the 14.05 and Matthew Burgoyne with the 14.0 with in silver and bronze. Breaking the 14 is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Breaking 14 is awesome. And Colt Walker with another great routine of having with less than 1 point of deduction. And then a shout out to Theo Goderud for, getting 5th. He had a very, very solid routine there to round out that top 5.
Yeah, and that double twisting, double layout. I mean, I know you see a lot of people do the double twisting, double tuck, but it is worlds, leagues harder to lay that out at the end of a routine, nonetheless.
Especially at one as difficult as he did it.
Yeah.
And I will say with Asher, to do a 5-5 difficulty score and only lose 8/10 of in execution, both of those things are unheard of on their own. To do it together, it's just something you see almost nowhere else.
Yeah, he's just on another level.
Just on another level.
And moving on to vault.
Wow.
We saw some high-flying vaults today, and looks like, Jasper Smith Gordon, he only did the cos 1.5, the 14.8 start value, but he just did it so clean that it was enough to win. We saw Taylor Burkhart put up that Yurchenko half on double full off with the 15.0 start value, and Asher doing the huge hardest skill in gymnastics, Rise Guang, but the difficulty wasn't enough. You have to execute.
Definitely, that's definitely one of the more high risk, high reward type things in men's gymnastics, because that vault is, like you were saying earlier, is done maybe by 3 to 5 people internationally, and it's just difficult to say the least.
Yeah.
And we had a few ties too, looks like. Ooh. Moving on to parallel bars. We got Fuzzy Bennis scoring a 14.1 to take the gold with a 9.4 execution. Only 6/10 off the routine as a whole. Plus he got a stick. And that's always money whenever you can get a stick on top of a great routine like that.
Yeah, 9.4 is wild. Absolutely unreal. Yeah. And you can watch that routine. 9.4 is spot on. There was almost nothing to take off.
Sometimes you think, where did you take off then?
Right.
Because it looked so good. And then rounding it out, you got Colt Walker getting the silver. And that is where the difficulty really helped him out. Execution wasn't as good, but the difficulty was a lot higher. So that definitely allowed him to get that second place start. Still great execution, too, in that 1.5 range.
Yeah. We see, Theo and Jeremy Bischoff rounding out the podium with the bronze medal tied for bronze. And you notice, like you were saying, the difficulty score really helped Colt here. Everyone else has very high executions and at the sticks, which make a big, big difference. Colt doesn't get the stick, but that difficulty is enough to put him up into second place.
Yep, very much so. Difficulty matters.
And
lastly, we got high bar. Emery Dodonley taking the gold for Oklahoma on high bar with a 14.3 score with 1.2 in execution, and the highest difficulty as I can see on this chart as well. So definitely was able to do both at a very high level.
Yeah, absolutely. Brandon Wynn of Stanford rounding out the podium for second place, and Fuzzy Bennis and Taylor Burkhart tying for third with a 13.85.
A lot of great work on high bar today for a lot of these guys. All around. Wow. Your first place all-arounder, your MPSF all-around champion is Eric Upton from Air Force.
Incredible. I mean, we saw him have a fantastic day. He looked on point on just about everything. Breaking an 80 is
80.1.
really, really
in this
difficult
code.
in
That's
this
really
code.
difficult in this code, and he certainly stepped up to the plate today. He hit a home run. Really did all 6 events very well.
Yep. And Theo Gatterud of Cal
Oh,
with the second
let's
place
not
silver medal.
let's not forget
77.
Theo. He
Yeah.
had a great day. He also had a great day, and he's a very exciting gymnast to watch too. And very big props to him. He did some really fantastic gymnastics. His rings routine is always fun to watch. So
Yeah. His double front
definitely-
arm vault was buttery smooth.
Oh yeah. Oh man, one of my favorite vaults to watch too. While those two were the only two that did all around at a full level, I mean, I give credit to both men for sticking it out all 6 events, but everybody else did a great job here. A lot of the 5 eventers, 4 eventers, doing whatever they could to make sure their team could win a championship or do the best they can possibly do. And a lot of great talent on this list alone, and we're definitely going to see a lot more all-arounders at NCAAs from this list.
Yeah. And one last thing I'd like to point out is that execution score for Fuzzy Bennis. He did 5 events, 45.65. That's above a 9.1 average over 5 events.
That's incredible.
Absolutely unreal.
Absolutely incredible. It looked like he was on track to score maybe around that 83 mark in all around if you were to do horse.
Yeah.
That could be a very interesting thing to watch come NCAA time in 2 weeks.
Definitely. It's fun to see, and it's interesting we only saw 2 all-rounders here. I guess we will see how many all-rounders we see from these teams at the NCAA championships.
Yeah, it's gonna be such a fun ride. And here we look at the team totals. Man, as you said, that 3/10 cushion able to just be enough for Oklahoma.
Yeah. And we said it. Every 10th matters. 3/10 is basically the difference between sticking your dismount and taking a 3/10 step. That's it.
Oh yeah. There's no way to say that any better than you just did. Like, we were harping on it all day. Every 10th matters. Those sticks matter. Minimizing deductions everywhere else matters. And if you look at even between Cal and Air Force, Air Force is down by 6 points going into that final event and only lost by 2.1. They definitely were able to scratch and claw their way back up into, that area.
Yeah. Absolutely wonderful meet by both these teams.
Yeah, honestly, all 4 teams had a great day. Let me give a shout out to Cal Berkeley. They've had some rough competitions this season, but they have proven that they can compete at such a high level and, honestly fight for maybe a slight spot into that top 6. Who knows what can happen at NCAAs? And that goes for Air Force as well. They can somehow find their way into that conversation. And then OU and Stanford, that could be your national championship competition. And then add Michigan into the mix. Those 3 teams can probably beat up on each other for those 2 days.
Yeah, it's gonna be one big battle at NCAA championships, and I cannot wait. Cannot wait for it.
Yeah, and Stanford showed some really good stuff today. I was very impressed to see how they would look, especially with getting their A lineup really getting going, and they looked the part of a defending national champion. So
yeah, they also broke their season high by 1/10 here.
They did. That is very true. They did.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
Overall, great competition.
Yeah, this was so much fun. I had a lot of fun commentating with you, Jack.
Thank you. It was great. It was a great experience. Thank you, Akash, for having me. Honestly, a great partner to have for my first time doing this. So it was so fun to do, and hopefully we can do it again at some point.
Yeah, and Jake, I'll see you at NCAA championships as well. I hope anybody who's watching this will see you there too.
Yeah. Enjoy, everybody. Get ready for NCAAs. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We will see you there.
Next, we have the 2025 Mountain-Pacific Sports Federation Specialist of the Year from the United States Air Force Academy, Patrick Lewis. And the 2025 MPSF Gymnastics of the Year from Stanford University, Taylor Burkhardt. Now it's time to reveal the top gymnasts of each event for today's MPSF Championship. We will go in Olympic order, beginning on floor exercise. We have a two-way tie for second, so the way we tie the tiebreakers, so we have the highest execution score. So remember, they have the difficulty, and then we add the execution. So with the tiebreaker finishing in third place from Stanford, Asher Hong. In second place from Oklahoma, Fuzzy Venice. And your Mountain Pacific Sports Federation Floor Exercise Champion, a 14.35 from Stanford, Taylor Burkhardt. Ladies and gentlemen, your floor exercise champions. All right, next we'll move on to the pommel horse. In third place, from Cal, Aiden Lee. In second place, from Stanford, Corey Young. And your 2025 Mountain Pacific Sports Federation Pommel Horse Champion with the highest score of the meet, 14.9. Last year's NCAA Pommel Horse Champion, this year's champion from the Air Force Academy, Patrick Lewis. Ladies and gentlemen, the pommel horse champions. All right, now moving on to the still rings. In third place from Oklahoma, Matthew Burgoyne. In second place from Oklahoma, Tosh Aigu. And your MPSF champion, I hope you saw this, your team, it was huge. You also had a chance to see him over at the Paris Olympics with a 14.8 from Stanford, Asher Hong. Moving on to the vault. In third place, from Stanford, come on back up, Asher Hahn. In second place from Stanford, Taylor Burkhardt. And your 2025 Non-Pacific Sports Federation vault champion with a 14.25 from Cal, Jasper Smith Gordon. Next we have the parallel bars. We had a two-way tie for third that was settled by looking at the higher execution score. So taking third place from Cal, Theodore Garu. In second place, from Stanford, Colt Walker. And your 2025 Non-Pacific Sports Federation Parallel Bar Champion with a 14.1 from Oklahoma, Fuzzy Venice. Ladies and gentlemen, your champions. Let's leave. And moving on to the last individual apparatus, the high bar. We had a two-way tie for third event, settling that with the execution score. In third place from Oklahoma, Fuzzy Venice. In second place from Stanford, Brandon Nguyen. And your 2025 Mountain Pacific Sports Federation High Bar Champion with a 14.3 from the University of Oklahoma, Emery Devanley. Ladies and gentlemen, your high bar champions. And moving on to all around, two competitors completing all around today. In second place with a 77.95 from Cal, Theodore Garu. And your 2025 Non-Pacific Sports Federation All-Around Champion with an 80.1 from the Air Force Academy, Eric Upton. Ladies and gentlemen, your all-around champions. Great salute, brother. All right, now we'll move on to the team competition. When I recognize each team, they just stand in place, and then we're going to bring the champions up for some swag and the trophy. Finishing in fourth place with a 313.35 United States Air Force Academy Falcons. place today with a 328.95 Stanford University partner. And your 2025 Mountain Pacific Sports Federation All-Around Team Champions with a 329.25 University of Oklahoma Sooners. All right, I'm going to have the Sooners come up one by one to receive their gifts. So when I call your name, come on up. We will start marching order. We have Francisco Velez Valindo. Matthew Burgoyne. Tyler Flores. Colin Flores. Zach Nunez. Fuzzy Venice. William Linkwood. Henry Bedanley. Tosh Haidu. Ignacio Yacos. Brandon Zapata Ort. Matt Seiler. Hilton Christensen. And Arthur Malone. And honoring our coaches, let's bring up Suki Suzuki. And we have Josh Yee. Assistant coach Valerie Kosherov. And head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners, Mark Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2025 MPSF Team Champions. All right, folks, this was a good preview for the upcoming NCAA champions. Championships, lots of great gymnastics still coming this year. We're wrapping it up with our events at the Air Force Academy. Thank you very much on behalf of the United States Air Force Academy for hosting the 2025 MPSF Men's Gymnastics Championships and everybody who joined us today for that first year. Please be sure to follow MPSF Men's Gymnastics at mpsports.org or on social media at MPSF Sports. Thank you for coming, and please go home safely.